Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Today, obviously, is September 11th, 2024. So this marks 23 years from the incidents that occurred on September 11th, 2001. If you remember, there were 4 incidents that occurred in the same day. And I will discuss the explanation, the official explanation of what happened and why do they hate us, and if we should still have questions about what happened there. What triggered me in having this little video is this title from Rolling Stone: How September 11 became one of the internet's most popular memes. I tell you, the short answer is people still have questions and they don't believe the official version, or at least have question about it. And let's discuss it. As you remember, 2 planes hit 2 towers, the World Trade Center towers in New York City, in Manhattan. Then something hit the Pentagon. I will explain why I said something. And then a plane crashes or is lost over Pennsylvania. All right, let's start with the beginning. When you go and you provide an explanation to an event, a cataclysmic event, I should say, and you start being, how should I put it, evasive, or provide certain kind of justifications that even the baboons might have questions, then obviously your antennas of truth and lie gets very sensitive. For me, the first clue, or the first hit that got my antennas out, was this justification by the mass media, by the US mass media, when they were trying to understand why would someone, and they already pinpointed who those are, why would someone attack us? And I remember there were some panels with a lot of experts and analysts and all those guys that are very well paid by the operative media. They gave this answer: they attacked us because they hate our freedoms. Now for me that was like, and everybody was, yeah, that's it, yeah, that's it. And for me it was like, no. I mean, come with something more close to reality. Why? If you know anything about the Middle East, you understand that actions have consequences. That was the... All right. So for me, that explanation, I don't know, made me 99% skeptical that the mass media is going to tell us, or the authorities will tell us, what really happened. Why? Because of that, they hate our freedoms. I was like, bullshit. Please go tell that to a toddler. But I gotta tell you, a lot of my fellow Americans believed it. I had a lot of arguments with people who were just passionate in taking the oil from the Middle East. Didn't come with arguments or counter-arguments. They just parroted what their media they believed in and the authorities told them. All right, let's start with first why I think played a big role in the incidents from September 11, 2001. Let me show you 2 little articles. First one. This is from September 10th, yesterday, 2024. This might provide a clue for you why these guys over there don't give a shit about our freedoms. A US Navy submarine packed with Tomahawk missiles is at last in the Middle East, a month after it was ordered there to deter Iran. Deter Iran to do what? And that gets me to the second article. United Nations Security Council Resolution 242 And you're gonna find here this: withdrawal of Israel armed forces from territories occupied in the recent conflict. So this should include the application of both the following principles. Did this happen? This was after the Six-Day War in 1967, so this 242. So 67, 77, 87, 97, 2007, 2017, blah, blah, blah. So it's 40 some years. So understand, okay, I'm not going to give you more clues. So it's not about our freedoms, it's about something over there that we are involved over there because we're pushed or because obviously we have interests that are not honest. All right, so this is why they hate us. I will discuss, or I will raise a few points regarding the incidents, the 4 incidents: one plane, second plane, something at Pentagon, and that plane that crashed. All right. I'm skeptical because of why they hate us. And not only. First, I personally go with science. We love science, don't we? And two of the justifications or arguments that again made me, I know, idiotically be skeptical was this. They told us, again, the media operatives, that the steel beams in the World Trade Centers melted because of the fire. And I was like, no. And then they said, you know why? It's because the air out there in that altitude, with the help of the oxygenation, the fire burns, those desks burn so hot that they melt the structure that was already was shaky and damaged. And I was like, I know that steel melts at a much higher temperature than the fire outside if you try to fan it. When these guys produce and try to melt and steel and all that, they do it in a controlled oxygenation process. I'm not an expert on that, but I know that the fire outside, with whatever it's in there, trying to put the wind, is not going to melt a steel beam, which is that was the first for me, was, oh, take it easy. Second one, the constructions, the buildings, when they were designed for such an event as well, of accidents of this kind. That means, have you been in an airplane? Made out of what? Aluminum and what exactly? So again, that is just, for me, didn't make it, didn't do it. Another argument, the collapse. The collapse, have you ever seen a controlled detonation of a building? I urge you to do it. Go and look at it. That was one. It was almost in free fall, like it was nothing that was stopping it. Their argument, the weight of the tower that was sectioned by the airplanes hitting it, that weight was collapsing, was so heavy because the beams melted, remember, that they pushed everything, and everything just fell like this. No like this, they just followed that. They're just like that. And in almost free fall. I personally was like, okay, all right, let's say. But then what do you see? If you look at the videos, you see from time to time on the World Trade Center building some air coming, not everywhere, from when it goes down, collapses. I was like, interesting. Again, look at the controlled detonations and you're going to find out. The other one, people, officers, people over there, what did they say? We should trust the witnesses, remember? Especially the witnesses who were over there. That is, if you're a witness, you're right there, right? So the first, how do you call it, source Remember in the Second World War, in the camps, German camps? After the Second World War, there were books, and a lot of people like Elie Wiesel who wrote books, credible books, about what the Germans did to them in those camps. And they were taken as manna. Yes, 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 we should trust these guys. Somehow, they didn't trust others that would oppose those statements. All right? Yes, yes, there are. Go, even on YouTube, if you go, you're going to find out the same kind of people who are also involved in the same situation, awful situation in the German camps. They say a little bit, slightly, to be a nice story, but you don't hear from them. So, if you go back here, you have police officers, people who said that was explosions. Those were explosions, there were explosions. Now the mass media's interpretation or argument was, well, you know, gas pipes and things in there that just exploded, and the air under a pressure, it just does that. I mean, you can believe that if you want, if you believe that. Another argument that I read about was some, how do you call it, samples picked up from the towers, and they showed certain kind of chemicals that kind of support the conspiracy theory, which I'm against conspiracy theory. I'm against it. The other one, remember, was it Building 9? Remember the building number 9? And it was that owner of the towers. What was his name? I know he was a kind of guy. He, on camera, said, we decided to pull it off, or pull it out. Is that how you pull it off, pull it out? And that, again, collapsed like this and went like this. And it was not even hit by anything. Just go, how was his name? The guy who just bought the World Trade Centers about a year ago. The name is right here, but go and check him out. You're going to find out what his name is. And then he's got the insurance. Lucky him. Good for him. All right. So it's another Silverstein, I think it is, something like this. We pulled it off or pulled it something, and then we had to. Why? And they were not even by the World Trade Centers. Again, on camera. These are just questions. I'm not saying anything about these were, no. So this is about the World Trade Centers. Let's move to the Pentagon. You know that 2001, a lot of cameras existed, mounted at the buildings, to monitor, people who might do bad stuff. Now, the more important a building is, the more cameras it has, outside and inside. So if you go to an embassy, let's say in 2001, you would see the cameras, the big shit cameras like this long. I can vouch for that. All right. So if you go around important governmental buildings, you would see that for security reasons, security cameras. Pentagon was one of the most monitored and protected buildings in the world, in the most advanced, technologically advanced country in the world, United States of America, with a military security. And how many videos of the incident hitting the Pentagon we have? I can tell you. One. And that is not from the Pentagon's cameras or anything. It's from a gas station across the street, who I think published that before these guys, to a minor media outlet. Before these guys, it was the cat was out of the bag already. And I watched that video many times. The problem is the frame, the frequency of the frame doesn't convince me at all that was a diss. Regardless, nevertheless, even if it was, the fact that it is only one video from a gas station, not from the Pentagon building. So the gas station has a camera, the Pentagon doesn't have any security cameras, because, the gas station is more important target for the whomever than the Pentagon, who does this kind of things. So tell that to a baby. Wreckage, other things, is like was gone. Nevertheless, let's go to the Pennsylvania question. I heard all kind of stories that some people fought inside the plane, heroes and all that. I also heard some stories with some F-16s going up and approaching the target. Now what is it? What was it? I have no idea. But all these things, let's leave Pennsylvania away. Just crashed because he's coming, he's gonna get us, and break that door. I'm gonna Okay, leave that beautiful movie to the side. Maybe it was like that. I don't know. But the rest, I have questions. And the attacks of the media or officials on people who had questions of the official narrative, that also was red lights just like that, drawing attention. And as I said, it all started with why they hate us. They don't hate you for your freedoms. They don't want to have your garbage. They have their own garbage. They have their own dictators. They have their own tyrants that Pentagon helps stay in power. So, the fact that the media and the officials started with that thing, it was for me, and it worked. It worked. So that's why the memes. Now, let's go to why the memes are over there. The memes shows impotence. Like, why? This is a frustrated nation, or many people in the nation who are frustrated that they know is more to the story. They have a little gut feeling. Some are hiding certain kind of pieces of information, but the concerning or the more awful thing is they can't do anything about it. They know, but they can't. What can they do? Nothing. It's like you're a slave on a plantation and you know the master is bad. You know the master uses his whip. Yeah, he feeds you from time to time, but you know the master is bad. But you can't do anything. So you make jokes, you make songs about the master, how fat he is or how ugly he is or whatever, his wife or whatever he's doing. But that's about it. That's all you can do. That's all this guy can do. Why? Because with each and every of the two parties that came to power after September 11th, none of these guys came clean. That told these guys that the master, when that master died, his brother came in place. The same master, different face, the same situation. So I think it's this frustration that you feel powerless. And what you can do, as it was in the medieval times, you can only make jokes until they allow you to make jokes. It was illegal. I think it's still, considered a conspiracy this, conspiracy that, and denier that and denier that. I don't even know if YouTube will allow this video, as mild and as hintful I tried to be, instead of tell you exactly certain things that I say, please, raise your bar a little bit higher, okay? I'm not below 82 or 86, I'm sorry, IQ. Why 86? Because below 86, it's a retardation. That's why. And imagine, we supposedly are around an average of 100. So can you imagine how many people are below 86? I think it's about 40%. Or those 40% in a society, they have to function somehow. They have to do jobs. Imagine, how can you do that? Think about it. And yeah, that's the situation with the memes. It shows impotence, and what you can do, just ridicule it for as long as you are allowed. Kennedy's assassination. Another example, sealing the whatever records, evidence they still have over there. Again, since 1963. 1963, my friends. That's what, 50 years? What is it? And these guys are still keeping it there. 61 years, 60 years. Still keep it over there. The system protects itself. That's what it is. And these guys have to support the system. Another clue. Remember when it was in 2000, it was the elections between Al Gore and George W. Bush Jr., the illiterate, who graduated, who attended Yale University and Harvard University, Ivy League schools. That's another clue for me when I saw that and I saw the guy speaking and answering questions. I was like, thank you very much, Ivy League school. So that for me did it. When someone said, I graduate Princeton or Yale or Harvard or Columbia or something, like, open your mouth, baby doll, so I know how you think. Not how much you know, how you think. That's more important than how much you know. Because you can be a bookshelf, but when I ask you a question, you have to put it together, analyze it, and give me the answer. You can't. Anyway, why? Memory is just the foundation of an intelligence. Next step is, being able to know how to put it together, have the right way of thinking to reach the conclusion. Like, you want to build a house, you're not going to start with a roof, correct? So that's one after another. So that again did it with Bush. So remember the September, the 2000 elections, when it was in Florida. What happened in Florida? Just to let you know, my fellow Americans, there's no such a thing as 49-51 in a society. This is another imbecilic way. Why? So they make you be active. They don't want to be 80-20. Because if they're 80-20, they cannot, the 80 has too much power, and the 20 will say, well, I have no need for me to participate. Fuck it. And they lose the system. So we are at 51-49. Again, imbecilic. But hey, it is always. Maybe 48-52, but that's it, man, that's it. Because the options are really black and white. And obviously it's 50-50. Sometimes they touch one another. Again, baboons. So Florida was the decisive state. And it was about a few hundred people. Can you imagine a population? I don't know how much it was over there, the population, 280 million people with an electorate about 180 million people. I'm just guessing, cut it into how many, 60% participated, 40%, and you still get 100 million or something, maybe. It was a difference of hundreds of people. Can you believe this? Who voted? I can't believe it. Why? Just do some probabilities. Go in the 10th grade again and do it and see how it works. You would win the lottery each and every time you go to a casino, if that is the way these guys are telling you it's been for the past, I don't know, 80 years at least. All right, so then what did they do? Who's winning? Okay, I want to see the votes. How many these guys vote? Get the votes counted, all of them. No, a court went in and said, stop the counting. We don't want to find out who really won. You know what? Because that would make people lose faith in the system. By you stopping the counting, finding out the truth, that I think erodes the trust in a system. But they said, in the name of defending the system, and then after that they say, see, the system works. It works. That's another thing that I heard it many times here. The system works. It works, but you need some works well, works shitty, very well, poorly, badly, horribly. So yes, it works. Like, for instance, you go to work every day. You go over there, but you can go with no problems. You can go with, I don't know, traffic, or maybe you have an accident, but you still get to work. But how did you get to work? The system works. A lot of, not little tweaks in a system are needed here. It's about, I don't know, getting a chisel, I think, and a big fucking hammer, and all kind of, gotta change a lot of shit. I would say about 80%. Why? The system defends itself, and the people working in the system will defend their positions. So you don't have to work only to tweak the system, but there are people who support the system because that's their livelihood. That is the, how do you call those guys? Bureaucrats. And not only, do you think that the guy who's already, I don't know, a senator, which is not a bureaucrat, right? He's an elected official, representative. Do you think that the guy wants to change the system, wants you and I to do? No, because he said, no, Emil and these guys are just sour grapes. That's all. Why? Because he's successful. He's going to defend the system to death because his children are going to be helped. for the system that he defends to function. So, okay, this is why the memes are over there. Why they hate us. Why they hate us. Not because of our freedoms. If you still believe that, go and send more submarines and whatever to the Middle East, and you got the answer. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.